We are now back in open session, and we will begin with motion for the superintendent's report and recommendations during closed.
I motion that we accept the superintendent's report as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Walton. Any discussion? Okay, could we please have a yes vote, show of hands? Okay, Ms. Parker, if you will, please note that that was unanimous yes. And we would like to welcome everyone this evening to the Board of Education meeting September 23rd, 2024. We're so glad to see so many of you here tonight. We are going to, at this time, have our Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening, Ms. Parker. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Cobb.
Here.
Vice Chair Pereza. Here. Dr. Sheila Williams.
Present.
Tommy Old.
Here.
Rodney Walton.
Here.
Valerie Bogues.
Here.
Sharon Warden.
Present.
Erica Moore.
Present.
Brandon Moore. And Ruby Anaya Nunez.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. At this time, I would like to ask Vice Chair Pereza to please read our ethics awareness statement.
Welcome to the September 23rd, 2024 meeting of the Elizabeth City-Pasquotank Board of Education. It is my duty to remind members of the board that it is your responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it is your duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage your personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? Let the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
Thank you, Vice Chair Pereza. At this time, I need a motion to approve our agenda for this evening.
I move to approve the agenda as printed.
Okay, and I
I'll
need
second.
a second. Okay. It has been moved by Dr. Williams and seconded by Ms. Warden. Do we have any discussion on tonight's agenda? Okay, if not, if you would please vote showing yes by show of hands. Let the record reflect that is a unanimous yes. At this time, we are going to move forward in that agenda, and I'm going to turn our meeting over to Dr. Parker, who is going to do our recognitions for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. We have some folks that we're really excited to recognize this evening in the meeting, and I'd like to first invite our partners that are here from Centera to join us. We have our president of Centera here, Ms. Teresa Watson's here with her team, and we're excited tonight to thank Centera for their support. We had an opportunity that came our way a couple of months ago, and we had an invitation to join a program in North Carolina called NC Go Global, and this program allows for participating districts to send one teacher every summer on a fully funded summer fellowship in a foreign country to learn how the country works, to get an experience, to learn about education in that country, and then to come back to their home district and to teach other teachers about that experience. And so it's a really cool opportunity, no cost to the teacher, but for districts that join NC Go Global, there's a one-time contribution of $40,000. And so districts have to find private donation to be able to fund that, but once you make the contribution, there is no additional cost to the teachers. And so we went to our partners at Centera and asked for their support in this, and they just gladly helped us with this. And so we're a part of this now, and for perpetuity, we'll be able to send a teacher every summer at no cost to them, and that would not have happened had it not been the support from Centera. And so I was reading online that in 2023, Centera invested across their network right at $300 million that they gave back, particularly to rural communities, to support initiatives just like this. So we could not be more grateful for the partnership with Centera and for being able to make this come true for some of our educators. So President Watson and your team, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Absolutely, and I think Wendy has the presentation. If you'll come up, Dr. Parker, we'll get a photo op, or back there, whichever one you want, in front of your lovely sign. Let me just say, it is our pleasure to partner with the school system. You folks are our future. This is just a small contribution back to the many wonderful things that the education system is starting to enjoy. I was here just a little less than a month ago and got to hear the exciting news around your scores, and we want to be part of that with you folks. We want to be a partner and a colleague in raising our community. And then it's a pipeline for us too. So it's not completely without a selfish motive. You teach our doctors, our nurses, our respiratory therapists, our pharmacists. So we want to make sure that we're good partners with the school system.
Okay, so we're going to move for the photo opportunity. But again, on behalf of Centera Cares, my name is Wendy Pierce. I serve as the manager of our community benefit and grants. And so to everyone on the board, to the staff, to the faculty, to the parents, this is home for me. So I get to serve a lot broader, but I live just about a mile over behind the university. And so recognize as a member of this community and professionally that you guys are committed to our future, that our students are the next workforce in the pipeline, and that our ability to also support businesses and municipalities and school boards to recruit talent and provide training opportunities that go above and beyond make this community a better place. So to everyone in here, we're excited about the opportunity, and that, as Dr. Parker said, if you didn't catch that when we talked about this, he said it continues in perpetuity. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then we need to figure out how to partner. And so we're excited to be a part of the foundation and the seed that we'll carry in perpetuity in our community. So thank you all.
And we'd like to do a photograph for the board, so if the board could come join us up here, then we can move right over here and sort of, I know this isn't great for the camera angle, but if we can have the board line up over here, since it's a bigger photograph, then we can take the photo right here. So we're excited about, around this time next year, bringing the teacher that we select to go to the Netherlands to come back and share for everybody what their experience was over the summer, to learn and to join educators across North Carolina and legislators on that experience. So again, I just thank Centera for creating this, and we've named this as the Centera Global Scholarship. And so for the years that come, any teacher that goes will be able to go as a result of the Centera donation. So we're extremely thankful for the work there and the donation. Want to recognize now some recognitions from P.W. Moore Elementary School. So we're going to ask Principal Stephanie Ambrose to come forward with her team, and we have some staff and students that we want to recognize tonight. So let's welcome Miss Ambrose and Miss Everett to the podium.
So I guess before I start the recognitions for our staff and students, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing at P.W. Moore this school year. I know our video isn't ready to be shown tonight, but some of the things that we talked about in the video that we're excited about is our 21st century after-school learning platform that we're going to have. It's going to be an extension of our Line Pride time that is offered every morning for 45 minutes. So we will be able to offer after-school tutoring and enrichment for an additional 120 students. Well, that's our students, that is, but till 5:15 every day. And during that time, we will offer them we'll provide them a snack as well as a hot meal to have after school. They will have tutoring from their teachers based on the data that we have gotten thus far from the beginning of the year assessments that the students have. Something that we did notice over last summer, our students, we had some students that stayed for the community schools summer camp that we held, and those students that stayed, when they took their assessments at the beginning of this year, we noticed they did not have the summer slide like the majority of our students usually do when we go from the end of the year, come back at the beginning of the year, and that data goes backwards instead of, it doesn't stay the same, but it goes backwards. Well, this year, the students that stayed with us over the summer for the program that was 3 weeks, their data was able to stay the same. They did not go backwards, so we were very, very proud of that. So this summer coming up, we will offer that again for our students. It's a community schools partnership that we will have. The students last year we themed it, so they had reading, math, and science. And then on the fourth day, which was a Thursday, they were able to take a field trip. They went to NASA, they went to Wright Brothers, because we tied everything into flight, space, engineering. So we try to do things that will be a little different in the summer than it was during the school year. So those were some things that we were very excited about, and we're real excited to kick off our 21st century program that will begin. We were aimed to begin the 30th, but we have pushed that back for an additional week to gather the data and put things in place. So once we get that up and rolling, that's going to be exciting for our students, so they'll have that free program after school as well as a hot meal to go with them. So at this time, we'll switch gears and we will share our appreciations for, I appreciate all my staff every day. Each and every day, we are so thankful to have them. But when we look over at the end of the year and then coming back in the beginning year of the flexibility of some of our staff members, we really want to give a shout out. This shout out goes to Kamisha Gay Bent. Kamisha came to us last year. The year before, she was in 2nd grade, and last year she jumped up and went to 5th grade. She teamed with another teacher, and between the two of them, their scores in reading, math, and science were exceptional. So they exceeded growth in all areas. So we were very proud of that. Our next nomination went to Miss Shirley Williams. She is our cafeteria manager that works so hard all day, every day for our students. This summer, whenever I said, can we get this? She said, yes, you can. Well, what about if we have these students in July? That'll be okay. She also provided the foods for the summer feedings for the county. So we're so thankful to have Miss Shirley Williams. Lisa Giormano. Miss Giormano is our school counselor, and she helps us in so many ways. As we have little fires that are starting to come, she helps to soothe and calm them, and she is just very flexible in everything that she does. We couldn't make it a day without her. For our student recognitions, we have several student recognitions, but these are our leaders of tomorrow. These students come in every morning. They have been, they've gone through Ms. Giordano's safety program, and they are what we call our safety patrol monitors. So they are our Lion Club leaders. So I would like to start with Connor Caffarello. Thank you, Connor. You come there. We have Destiny Williams. She's not here this evening. Charlotte Davenport, Layla Rogers, Brianna Dillard, Urza Burton, Sarah Ramirez, London Sawyer, Kendra Bond, Elena Jones, Ashlyn Whitby. Come on, Ashlyn. Thank you. Margaret Walton, Jermaine Dillard, Chase Stutz, Dakari Peterson, and Kathleen Overton, and another one goes to Miss Geneva Woodby. Geneva and Kathleen were with us last year as we had our family dinners. There was not a night that they weren't there to help us serve our families for our suppers at PW Moore. So we thank everybody every day for everything you do for us. We appreciate you all.
Ms. Ambrose, thank you, and to your staff and students for coming out and sharing with us, so thank you for that. Want to now invite Ms. Edmondson, Director of Technology, to come forward and introduce some students that helped us in a paid student internship this summer in our technology department. Thank you, Heather.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Parker, and to all of our guests. This summer, the ECPPS Technology Department hosted our first ever summer technology internship. It was sponsored by the North Carolina Business Committee on Education, which is an organization that fosters the critical connection between North Carolina employers and education systems through work-based learning experiences. Our internship program began the week of July 16th, and it lasted through August the 26th, which was the first day of school. Our interns spent their summer working, learning the various tasks and roles throughout the tech department, and experiencing firsthand the processes used in the tech department to provide support across the entire school district. This included all of the support, all of the planning, and the customer service needed to work with each and every department. Their time was spent learning the basics of troubleshooting technology problems, rebuilding Chromebooks, screens, and keyboards, oh my, setting up new devices, completing inventory, and working with various departments in the district. This summer, our interns did an amazing job, always fired up and ready to go. We are so thankful for Madeline Martinez. Come on up. Madeline is a senior at the Elizabeth City-Pasquotank Early College. Stay right here. And Zachary Pereza, a senior from Northeastern High School. We appreciate all of your hard work and all of your assistance and your desire to learn in spending the summer with us at Edgewood Technology Services in the tech department. Thank you so much.
At this time, I would like to call on Ms. Sharon Warden, who is going to share some board participation information.
I have had the distinct honor to serve on the legislative committee through the North Carolina School Boards Association, representing Elizabeth City, Pasquotank County Schools. And I am very, very proud of our board because the first meeting that I attended, we had to go through a variety of topics. We had a roundtable discussion about those topics, decided what our priorities were, and then we developed a survey that was sent out to all 133 school boards across the state. Our school board members was one of 17 across the state who had 100% participation in that survey, which means that our voice was loudly heard by, hopefully, the legislators in Raleigh about what topics are of immense concern for, as we go forward, for our school systems. So just wanted to share that. Again, I have one more meeting on that committee, and then there will be a survey sent out from that, again, the board members will have an opportunity to give their opinion on. And at that point, the School Board Association goes before the legislators and discusses those topics, making sure that they advocate strongly for our teachers as well as our students as we move forward in the state. So,
Thank you so much, Ms. Warden, for sharing that information. I would also at this time like to just recognize our board for something else that has occurred recently. On September the 5th, the members of the Board of Education attended Leadership, Education, and Training Professional Development at Elizabeth City State University. All 7 members of our board were recognized at this regional meeting for winning a Golden Bell Award. This award signifies that every member of the school board has completed a minimum of 12 hours of professional development during the 23-24 academic year. And so we wanted this evening, if we could ask all of the members of the board to step in the middle for a quick photo. Thank you. It is now time for the public comment portion of our board meeting. Just a reminder of some of the points to remember concerning public comment. Each speaker that is signed up will receive 3 minutes to present comment. The public comment session will not exceed 30 minutes total, except by a majority vote of the board. A sign-up sheet is available 30 minutes before the meeting begins for any individual or group to indicate their desire to address the board. During the public comment period, the board chairperson will recognize speakers in the order in which they signed in. When the speaker's name is called, please approach the podium without anything in hand except paper or an index card if needed. Substitute speakers will not be permitted, and speakers may not donate any portion of their time to another speaker. If a speaker is unable to present all of his or her information within the specified 3-minute time limit, the speaker may provide the board with additional information in written form. The chairperson will preside over the public comment period. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made by the presenter. The speaker will be made aware when his or her 3 minutes is up. At that time, the speaker must leave the podium without comment and either return to his or her seat or leave the meeting. Except in cases of emergency, information received during presentations will not be acted upon at the time it is received. It would take a unanimous vote of board members present to take action on a presentation considered to be of unusual or emergency nature. Disruptions by any person or persons of a public meeting will be subject to action in accordance with the GS 143-318.17. This evening for public comment, we have one individual who has signed up for comment, and that individual is Mr. Tony Sawyer. Mr. Sawyer, you are welcome to approach the podium, and Ms. Parker will act as your timekeeper and let you know when to begin and when your time is up.
Thank y'all. My name is Tony Sawyer. Live at 2715 Main Street Extended. I'm here tonight. Okay. I'm here tonight to address the board. I believe it's been a couple weeks ago now. My criminal background check came back clean for the second year in a row. Of course, y'all know what I'm here for. My fight to get back on the field after 3 years of garbage. I did have the opportunity to reapply, like everybody. The superintendent turned me down again for no reason. So what I did last week is I did the proper paperwork to get put on the agenda. And at that time, the board chair and the superintendent both turned me down. All I have asked for the last 3.5 years is just to be put on the agenda and hopefully get a fair vote in front of this board, in front of me, not behind closed doors, because I know how that'll work. That's all I've ever really wanted. It's just to be put on the agenda and then let y'all decide. Let the full board decide, not just a couple. If we all pay attention to policy 2310, which I have in my hand, it basically says once the superintendent and the once the superintendent and the school board chair turn me down, I can actually appeal to the board if I can get majority vote after being denied by the superintendent to add this item to the agenda. And that's basically what I'm asking tonight. I know it's been adopted, but according to this, if we're going to go by policy, according to policy, I can ask the board to add this to the agenda. It happens all the time. I've been to city council meetings, I've been to county commission meetings, and here. It can be added. So I'm asking at this time that y'all add this to the agenda. And if I can get 2/3 vote, I can get back on the field, no matter what the board chair or superintendent says. I just want to put an end to this, you know. I mean, you all know that I was done wrong. You know, after 17 years of distinguished service on that field, you're going to come back at me something that happened 28 years ago. And it's not even up there now, you know. I got a clean record other than some minor traffic. You know, I got it expunged over 2 years ago. I'm still stuck in the same spot, you know. I'm just asking for some help. I know there's enough heart on this board to vote me back on that field. I know it is. I know it's not 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. That is the end of your time.
Okay.
We appreciate your comment this evening. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. I'll hang around to see if I'll take any action. If it's not going to happen, if you can just let me know now so I can go, so I don't sit here and look stupid. Can anyone answer that, or you can't make no comment on that either?
I can't make a comment based on policy as to what your public comment was. No, I cannot.
If we go by policy, I guess we're not going by policy.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. Okay. So I will. I'd like to call for a motion by the board to have Mr. Sawyer's request put on the agenda this evening? Okay, and then I'm going to just ask one more time. I'm calling for a motion to put Mr. Sawyer's request to be on the agenda for this evening. Hearing no such motion, I would defer to you guys, but that would be the end of the. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sawyer.
Thank you, sir, for clearing that up for the future, okay? Thank you so much.
At this time, we will turn things over to Dr. Parker for our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to say a couple of things here. One is to Ms. Ambrose and team. I see Ms. Ambrose is still here, but we are very, very excited about the 21st Century Grant that Ms. Ambrose mentioned that is getting ready to go into effect at P.W. Moore. And we shared some of this a couple of meetings ago, but this grant came out of a collaboration between Ms. Ambrose and her team, Mr. Barcliffe on our community schools partnership, and then our finance department with Ms. Candy Tilley, and then Ms. Sandy Kinzel in our federal programs department. And these grants are awarded by the federal government, and they are extremely difficult to be awarded. And so there was a select number of schools across North Carolina that received these 21st Century Grants, and P.W. Moore was one of those. And so this grant is going to, over 3 years, allow our young people at P.W. Moore to experience the programming, Ms. Ambrose said, at no cost to them. And so we're really, really thankful about that opportunity. And I just want to emphasize one more time our gratitude for all the folks that put a lot of hours into making that application. So Ms. Ambrose, thank you for sharing that tonight, and also for your staff that was here. I also want to thank P.W. Moore because a couple weeks ago, many of the folks in the room attended our press conference where we released the increase in student achievement and school performance grades across the district, and P.W. Moore hosted us for that press conference. And so we're just really excited to highlight the growth that we've seen across our schools. And I think P.W. Moore, along with other schools, but P.W. Moore is really a case study and a testament of possibilities. And we talked about that at the press conference. But when you think about what's possible, the sun always comes up, the day that is coming. And I think P.W. Moore, in many ways, is an example of what's possible in this community. And so I just want to echo some of those things that Ms. Ambrose said there. And a couple of things that I would share is we are moving along at an incredible pace. We were talking earlier last week about how fast the school year has already started and some things that are underway. And so we are moving on with our academic calendar and moving toward our first required teacher work day, which will be on October 14th. And so as we've done the past 2 years, this will be a professional learning conference that we're hosting on that work day for all of our staff in the district. And so our team right now, Ms. Terry Wilson and her folks are organizing a lot of that work now, but we're excited to bring our staff back to the Ignite conference. And so that's hosted on the 14th, where there'll be professional learning opportunities for staff across the district. We're really excited about that opportunity. And I want to thank everybody that has been involved in the planning for that. We're looking forward to sharing some opportunities as we keep moving with professional learning. Last two things I would just share is we are, I just want to say thank you to everybody in the community, to our families, and to our friends and partners across the state that reached out to us after our press conference on academic achievement. There were many partners across the state that expressed just their gratitude and their well wishes to us for some of the achievement we're doing. One of those partners is EdNC, and a couple of board meetings ago, Katie Dukes was here from EdNC. But we had an opportunity to highlight some of the work that the board is doing and our staff is doing in a recent article in EdNC. But EdNC was at our press conference and was able to help tell some of the stories we're doing. So to our partners in the community and also across the state that have been very supportive as we're celebrating the work that's going on, I want to say thank you to them. And then also to this idea that we've done a lot of celebrating since the school year began, but we're also not standing still because the work continues, and next year we want to celebrate even greater achievement. And so that means a lot of hard work has to continue to go on. So those are things that we're really excited about. And the final thing I'll share as an update is we're really excited in the months ahead to highlight to the board and to our community partners some of the really cool things happening in the 3 schools that launched Spanish immersion classrooms this year. And so for some of the folks in the room that have been able to get into some of these classrooms, we have right now in kindergarten and first grade classrooms across the district, we have young people who Spanish was not their first language that are speaking in Spanish. And I was in some classrooms last week, and some of our young people were able to ask the teacher to go to the bathroom in Spanish. They were able to ask, how are you doing? How's your day doing? What did you have for lunch? Many of our students in kindergarten and first grade can count to 50 in Spanish now. And so this is just after a couple of weeks of being in one of the Spanish immersion classrooms. And so in the weeks ahead, we're going to give an opportunity for the board, invite the board and some of our community partners to come visit some of our classrooms where we have Spanish teachers. So that's a really exciting thing that's happening right now. So I just want to highlight that and just share as one example of the many really neat and innovative things that are going on in the district right now. Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes the report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. And now I would like to turn things over to Vice Chair Pereza and the student board members.
Thank you, Chair Cobb. We're now going to hear from our student board members, but I believe their microphone is not working. Is that correct? Yes? If we could get the one from the podium. Great. Thank you, Dr. Parker. And now we will hear from Ruby from Pasquotank County High School.
Thank you, Ms. Pereza. This month has flown by. My classmates and I have been getting acclimated to our daily routine. I would like to start off by highlighting that our admin has held class meetings the first week of school for each class level, kind of going over expectations, requirements, and so forth. For our senior class meeting, our new AP, Mrs. Wilder, was going over our senior activities, and she told us that they're planning our senior trip in Orlando, Florida. So that's kind of exciting, something to look forward to. She also introduced that we're going to get a student council. So she's kind of like getting people to take initiative to be a part of that. Our upperclassmen has also had the opportunity to pitch clubs to our underclassmen. I was a part of that as well. We went to some of the freshman and sophomore class meetings, and we had the opportunity to talk about DECA, FFA, HOSA. We also had our first official DECA meeting of the month, and our chapter has gained almost 20 new members, which is beneficial as we are trying to obtain membership campaign goals. We get recognized for this at the state level when we compete in Greensboro next year in February. We also attended DECA Day at the Tides game, where students get to see the behind the scenes of the marketing and business behind minor league baseball. We're also preparing for our annual Toys and Treats Night that's being held this Wednesday. So if anyone has elementary school kids, please bring them. We will have games and treats for them. Our band is also preparing for their first band competition this weekend, where they'll be competing at Hickory High School. And 5 students, 4 of them being seniors, 1 junior, had the opportunity to attend ECU and be a music student for the day. And they're really excited about that. Our ROTC unit is also getting in the groove of things. We had our first physical training assessment this this month and our uniform inspection. I see a lot of teamwork and camaraderie between them, also a lot of respect among the cadets. There's a lot of inspiring and leading being seen in the classroom. We also had the opportunity to introduce our staff at our first commander's call, which is a new tradition we're trying to implement each month, where we kind of get together with their unit, because we don't really have the opportunity to do that any other time, during flex time, and get the three flights, together during this time. We're also competing this weekend at Northeastern with other neighboring ROTC units. They're hosting a cadet challenge, and so basically doing PT during this time. Back to CTE, the career development facilitator, Mrs. Simpson, held a session with some of my classmates in the marketing level 2 class, where they explored different careers in the mini clusters using the VR Oculus. There's a lot of exciting things going on at Pasquotank County High School, and I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share them with you all. Passing it forward to Brandon Moore. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I have a couple celebrations from our principal. The first one is our first quarter is coming to an end in 3 weeks. Our SGA had elections and have begun to meet and plan events for our school. The National Honor Society participated in partnerships with Green Saves Green, a highway cleanup this past Saturday. We will have our first school dance on September 28th, which is this Saturday. We will have our first modified Flex Friday on September 27th with a focus on clubs. Our freshmen and sophomores completed their first round of student-led conferences, and our senior breakfast will be on October 18th. Thank you all. That's all I have. I'll now pass it to Erica Moore.
Good evening, board members. Now that we've been to school for a couple weeks, I can say that everyone's become acclimated with our new faculty and staff, so people are taking to the rules and actually following things that I'm very excited to say. We've started our FACE group, which is Family and Community Engagement Group. We had our first meeting on Wednesday, September 11th at 6 p.m. 15 parents showed up in attendance to the meeting. This group will give parents a voice to assist the school events and present ideas to the school administration. Our next meeting will be held on October 8th at 6 p.m. I'm excited to say that our football team has continuously been undefeated this season, so that's a big shout out to Northeastern High School. Our varsity volleyball team is 5-6 this season, and I'm excited to say that I'm proud of our growth as a previous years. We've come a long way. And Northeastern's homecoming game is October 25th, so we hope to see you all wearing your green and gold to support our Eagles. I have only had one issue being brought to me from my students, my peers, and as we are so grateful for our parking lot, we've also need appreciation and love for the inside of our schools. I can say that our bathrooms need some much needed love, so I decided to take a look myself, and for the female bathrooms, we have 3 bathrooms in total in the main building with 4 stalls and 3 to 4 sinks in each bathroom. Only one bathroom works to full capacity, and normally the main door to enter it is locked. Leads to other bathrooms with at least 2 broken toilets or like half the sinks not working properly. We have one stall where the door is completely off, so there's no door to that stall, so no one can use it. And our other doors do not close properly, so there's no privacy for our students. I know a lot of people complain and they wonder, like, we have all these money for these new things, but we also want the simplicity of having our privacy back in our bathrooms. But thank you so much for having me speak today. Back to Miss Angela Cobb.
Thank you to our student board members. There's definitely a lot going on, it sounds like. So we appreciate you sharing those items with us. Now we are in the portion of our program and where we need to get a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Can we get a second? I'll second. Thank you, Mr. Olds. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of the items on the consent agenda this evening? Board members, you should have had an opportunity to take a look at everything that's up here. If not, could we please show a positive vote of yes with a show of hands? Let the record reflect that is unanimous, Ms. Parker. And now I will turn over to Dr. Parker, our meeting, so that we can discuss any new business.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have some new business to discuss this evening, and they involve first with some contracts that we'll outline for the board, and then the second will be some policy updates from Ms. Haynes. Let's start with the Centera speech contract update, and then followed by a psychologist contract, and we'll defer to Dr. Kelly McPherson, our EC director, to come forward and share information on those. Kelly. And on that one, we adjusted some components to the contract from the last meeting. And so, Kelly, if you'd like to share some pieces on that or summarize that one along with the psychologist. And then quick procedural point here on the new business. Are these two, Ms. Haynes, are we voting on these today? So these are be action items that the board will take action on in the new business. Okay, correct. So, yeah, Kelly, if you'd want to discuss some major points in those two, and then the board will take action individually on each of those.
Will do. Good evening, School Board Chair Cobb, school board members, and Dr. Parker. The two contracts that we have before you, the Centera speech contract, we are searching for our in-person speech pathologists for our kiddos who require that level of support. Right now we have several virtual, and virtual does not always work for everyone. But we do want to make sure we have quality people in place. So we do have Centera that we are contracting with for that. Coastal evaluation and stepping stones, we are without school psychologists at this point. So we're looking to contract with some school psychologists to start getting some of our reports, our evaluations completed, but I'd also like to see them utilized in a more student-centered way where they're working with students to provide some support with them mental health-wise. So typically you see psychologists are being utilized as evaluators, but I really want to see them kind of tap into those areas that we don't necessarily always get a chance to tap into. So those are the two things that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there any question from the board about either one of these, either the Centera speech contract or the coastal evaluation and stepping stones psychologist contract? Do we have any questions by the board? For a point of reference, do we need to do a motion on each one individually? That would be my recommendation. Okay. 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 All righty. Would you like for us to wait? And we're not voting tonight on, okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do a motion on these two. I need a motion for the Centera speech contract first.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Centera speech contract.
Okay, Mr. Walton's made the motion. Can I get a second? Okay, Mr. Old has seconded. Any further discussion on just the Centera speech contract? Okay, if not, please do a raise of hands vote to show you approve.
Chair Cobb, I recuse from voting from this.
Okay. Okay, so let the record reflect that we have 5 yes votes and 1 recusal from Ms. Pereza. Okay, let's move to the second one. I need a motion for the coastal evaluation and stepping stones contract.
I would also like to make the motion that we approve the coastal evaluation and stepping stone contract.
Thank you, Mr. Walton. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Bogues? Okay, thank you, Ms. Bogues. Any further discussion on that contract?
I have one question for that one.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You indicated that you were really striving to have them work on one-on-one with the students. Is that something that's going to be clearly stated in their contract?
Well, we're looking at if it's one-on-one, or they may do like group therapies with kids, you know, working on social skills, coping strategies, things like that.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Okay, please signify your yes vote by show of hands. Let the record reflect that as a yes unanimous vote. Thank you so much for
You're very
sharing
welcome.
with us this evening.
Thank you.
Dr. Parker, we'll go back to you.
Thank you, Dr. McPherson, and thank you, Board Chair. We're now going to ask Rachel Haynes to come forward and talk about some policy updates. This will be a first read, and the board will be taking action at the next meeting.
Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Perez, and board members, good evening. So the policies presented this evening are for first read, and these special policy updates focus on changes to Title IX regulations, EEOC policy guidance, and new laws related to school safety. So many of the updates are related to Title IX. New regulations have eliminated the need to handle complaints of sexual harassment under a separate policy, and all claims of any sex discrimination are now addressed under one policy. That would be 1725-4035-7236. Title IX changes also required revisions to policy 1720-4030-7235, and that's Title IX non-discrimination on basis of sex, and policy 4023/7233, which is pregnant and parenting students and employees. Recent EEOC guidance on effective policies have resulted in rescinding policy 7232, discrimination and harassment in the workplace, and addresses discrimination and harassment in policy 1710-4020-7230, which is discrimination and harassment prohibited by federal law. And then revisions to policy 1510, 4200, and 7270, school safety, include updates required by North Carolina Session Law 2023-78 regarding threat assessment teams. And the last major update was from fall is policy 3610, counseling program, and that includes the required peer-to-peer support programs. And the other policy revisions in your packet are minor, include changes to legal reference and policy cross-reference. And if there are any questions, we can discuss them at the next meeting. So.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Any questions from the board? And these will be first read, so next meeting we will be looking at them, just to reiterate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, at this time, we have finished our business for this evening, and I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Can I have a second? Have a second. Any further discussion this evening? If not, please signify your yes vote by show of hands. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous, and we are now adjourned.